epic crowd vocal.
When I'm in the valley, I will fear no evil. When enemies surround me, you prepare a table. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me. And I can't see it all, but I have seen enough to know. Oh, you are faithful. I can't see it all, but I have seen enough to know. Oh, you are faithful. And I can't see it all, but I have seen enough to know. Oh, you are faithful. And I can't see it all, but I have seen enough to know. Oh, you are faithful. When I'm in the valley, I will fear no evil. When enemies surround me, God, you prepare a table. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me.
Good morning, SHiNE. I'm so glad that you've tuned in with me this morning. If you'd like to grab your notebooks and a Bible, we'll be focusing on Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 3, as we get into a new series called Waitlisted. This is our first week, and while you're getting there, I just wanted to tell you a couple quick stories. So the series Waitlisted, we're talking about waiting for God and his opportunities to come, and sometimes that could be hard. Waiting can be really hard, especially when it's something that you've been promised or you've been looking forward to. One thing that I can remember waiting for is waiting to be tall enough. So now my friends joke around all the time, even my siblings, that I'm so short. And so when I was growing up, we used to go to Fantasy Island all the time, and there was this ride called the Crazy Mouse. And so you had to be, because it was a roller coaster, you had to be a certain height. And I was just always too short to ride. And so I remember waiting in line, being like, man, this is my year. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I would stand a little taller, get on my tippy toes a little bit, and then, no, I didn't make it. And so next time, I was like, Mom, Dad, this is my year. I'm going to get it. I put my hair up into a taller ponytail, with fingers crossed, maybe this will work, getting my posture all straight. No, didn't work. So go back again. Finally, I was able to ride. And so some of you can relate, maybe not with that story of waiting to be tall enough to ride on a roller coaster or anything like that, but I know that we've all been so anxious for when Christmas time comes around. Am I right? We're all excited to open up our presents, see what we get, but sometimes on Christmas Eve, you're like, man, I gotta run, I gotta get to bed so that I can wake up first thing in the morning and get ready to run out to the Christmas tree and see what's in my stocking, unwrap the presents, see what I got. And so sometimes when we're waiting for things, it gets pushed off. In my house, normally we wait to open our presents until everybody's awake. And then we get to open our stockings, but we can't open the rest of our presents until we all eat breakfast. So there's fun that can become with waiting, but also when the anticipation builds up, you're getting anxious, like that part's fun, and we get excited for it. But then it gets to a point where waiting is just like, man, this is taking forever. And it keeps getting delayed, and you wonder if it's ever going to actually happen. So this is the same with a story in the Bible. So we'll be focusing on, like I said, Genesis 12, 1 through 3, which states, "The Lord said to Abram, 'Leave your native country, your relatives, and your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I bless those who bless you and curse those who treat you with contempt. All the families on earth will be blessed through you. So in those feelings of waiting for things, we see that God has promised Abram so many amazing things. But in chapter 12, verse 7, it says, the Lord appeared to Abram and said, I will give this land to your descendants. So all those things that God had promised, he then says, okay, Abram, I'm going to give it to your kids. So then he's like, man, now I have to wait even longer. And this is a huge promise. And so even back in those times, just having children was a sign of a blessing. And so it was that much bigger. And so our bottom line for this morning is that God has a plan, but sometimes we have to wait for it. So in Abram's case, God has given them this promise that he will get land, he will have kids, but Abram has to wait for that, unfortunately. So later, we see that Abram and his wife Sarai have not had their children yet. And now they're like 99 years old, which is a long time to not have children, even though God promised you children. But when they became 99 years old, God delivered his promise. God is faithful. And so in Proverbs 3, verse 5 through 7, we see that it is written, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all that you do, and he will show you which path to take. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom. Instead, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. So even though that it might take a while, God does have a plan for us. And with his time and purposes, he is shaping us and molding us into what his promise will be fulfilled for. So God is always faithful, and even when he promises us, it might take time, but that's just so that we can grow and develop and learn more about him, so that when the promise is fulfilled, we can tell other people about it. So I don't know what promises that you're waiting on or promises that you'll have in the future, but you can trust God because he has a plan and a purpose for your life. And even like that verse in Proverbs 3, verse 5 through 7, it just reminds us that we shouldn't depend on our own understandings, because we don't understand everything. God knows everything. He knows the whole puzzle, and he's just putting pieces together for our life. And so we need to trust him and give everything to him so that he can fully develop who we're going to come into with his wisdom. Because like our bottom line says, God has a plan, but sometimes we have to wait for it. And sometimes that waiting can be the best part. Sometimes you can learn the most while you're waiting for God to do these amazing things. So I hope that you have a great week, and we'll catch you next week.